So after watching the Let's Grow film, a courageous and cultural conversation that was put together by Sean and Lisa, um, I love the use of drama. I love the poetic flow. What three emotions that came up for me, though, were resistance. There was a resistance to what appears to me to be begging somebody to do right by me. An immediate resistance to that came up for me. The other emotion was, and I don't even know if I can call it an emotion. It was more of I wanted to just go silent. Like, part of me feels like the time for discussion has passed. I am one who believes that the world is under judgment. I do hold to that religious, I guess you would call it, belief that this pandemic is a result of the ill that is on this planet. And then another place where I felt resistance was when I think it was Lisa used the word brown for me, because there has been such a negative connotation with just talking about the Black experience. And I know that historically, even people who were deemed to be Black, they looked at that as negative. I still have a friend to this day that doesn't really like being called Black. She says she's a paper bag brown, and that's part of the abuse on our souls as Black people that we have undergone. It has become a part of us, a part of our experience. Those are the two main emotions. I know you asked for three, but the two I would say is resistance and just wanting to just go silent. What two desires came up for me and why? The first desire is, I would say, to stop feeling like we're begging somebody. That was my first desire. It's like, I feel like the time for begging is over. To me, the whole civil rights movement was begging white people who are really historically and scientifically our children, as far as showing up on the planet, begging our own children to act right. At some point, you got to go silent, in my mind. You got to say, okay, if we all come from some greater source, because I'm not really even religious, I'm more spiritual. And I believe that there's something greater working on this whole planet. And if we all come from some greater source, then, and those of us who have tuned into that source, we have a sense that judgment is upon us. There was those of us who knew, I knew that 2020 would bring 2020 vision, which means it's going to reveal everything that's been hidden. And everything that's been hidden is being revealed. And the people, a lot of us don't want to see it. We want to hide our eyes. But at some point, it's been hundreds of years. At some point, you gotta say either there's nothing I can do, because this is not the first person to try to start a conversation, or the first two people, or the first group to try to start a conversation, or there's a greater source with a greater power that's going to force everybody's hand. And that's what I think is happening personally. So that's my desire. Now you want to speak to my second desire. That's my desire. My desire at this point, because I'm not about pleading with anybody, is for the greater source to just come in and handle it all. And if it doesn't exist, if there is no God, then what the heck anyway? Because after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, I don't see, because one of the things I know, I was watching this documentary called Emotions, and it was talking about how our emotion is really energy in motion. And they've done studies on lab rats where they have concluded that if you put trauma on a lab rat, or a certain amount of lab rats, and they have babies, those babies will react to that same trauma, though they were never exposed to that trauma. And they notice that this goes on for generations of lab rats. So this is going on for generations on both sides. This systemic black racism, again, and I'm gonna call it that. I don't like to say racism just plain. I want to say it where I see it showing up. And even in the black people, the pain, generationally. So it's going to take something greater, a greater source in my mind, to even bring true justice or to heal the broken on both sides. Now, one thing it felt like to me too is that we always say it like the white people who are guilty of upholding this system of black racism, like they're doing so well, and that was part of the poetry as far as I heard. They're to me, in my mind, they're not doing well. In my mind, they're suffering their own type of suffering, and we have been made to think materialism is happiness, and it's not. I have learned from my 50 years that you can have little and be joyful and loving and have friends and loyalty, and you can be wealthy and rich and be mean and stanky and funky and nobody really likes you and always looking behind your back wondering who's gonna try to take your stuff because you have no friends. That's no level of living. And so I don't feel the need to beg from the broken to act right because they think they got something, because really they're empty and broken and dead in my mind, those who uphold white supremacy, the lie of white supremacy. So I choose, okay, and I'll leave that there. I'll stick to the questions. What did you learn through the film that you were unaware of before? I don't think I learned anything new. I already knew that there are white people who are sometimes misdirected, and they're quick to come around and to say, well, I don't know exactly. Like I had a coworker come to me after one of the recent killings of a black man, and she said, because I am one that works in law enforcement, and she said to me, Cherise, what can I do? Tell me what to do. Those are the people like the white man in the film who are open and receptive to trying to do something in their own realm. And really that's all any one of us can do, is work in our own souls, in our own realms, in our own universes, to make a change. I told her I can't tell you exactly what to do, but I believe your desire will guide you. Number 4, what truth do I find difficult, the most difficult to accept? The truth that I find most difficult to accept is that there's such hatred in the world, because I am love. I know I am love. I mean, I have things that I hate, but they're acts. I hate how some folks act. I don't hate them. I hate the whole set of standards that they move in. And I would like to see that annihilated from my planet, from my universe. You know, there are certain friends, I have white friends who hate Donald Trump. I don't hate Donald Trump. I hate his words. I hate his standpoint. And I think his own hatefulness is going to handle him. And I believe Source is going to handle him. And if he ever came into my realm of existence, I would handle him. You know, but I don't hate him. You know. And the last thing you asked, what do you love about my racial, what I love about my racial identity is that I am love, that I have come to understand that I represent the original people who were on the planet, that if there is a source, and I believe there is, that we all come from, that source fashioned me in the same blackness that it came from, she or he came from. And I like the fact that it appears to me that those of us who are from Source originally, or carry that in our DNA, we tend to, if we take care of our bodies, hold up pretty well. It seems like this package. And I haven't always loved myself. It was people who were heroes in my life, like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, which a lot of people hate. His voice saved my life. I love, one of the songs I love is Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. Well, I think when I hear that song, Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, it was one day a minister saved my life from a broken heart. One day a minister saved my life with a word. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that his teachings are sound. I know a lot of people say he comes from hate. I love that man. That man saved my life. And two other people I would say are instrumental has been Dr. Michael Beckwith and Lisa Nichols. And so because of their ability to help me to tap more into the love in me, and to more into the forgiveness that I needed in me, I wanted to host a party and show the film to my friends, and then I made this video to kind of speak to how it affected me. Hope that was helpful.